Miss Sophie is so cute when she sits. So we're going to practice a little bit with my gorgeous gal. We're going to try a little bit with some loose leash walking. I know she's off gear right now. So what I'd like to warm up with is a couple little moments where, again, being by the side is where the best place to be might be. Remember, with loose leash walking, it can be really beneficial to practice, as we've mentioned, like in the home or softer venues. You do want to feed your babe by the side of your leg. So you're reinforcing, and if again she wants to try out the snack, make sure she's enjoying it. So you want to feed on either the left or the right, whichever side you feel more comfortable. You can always switch. So the thing I would recommend to try to avoid is to not feed across the body. So if she was going to be on my left side and I have my food on my right hand, what ends up happening is your puppy crosses your path to kind of meet you halfway and try to meet you where the food is on that other side. So I recommend show the babe what you have to offer. Take a few steps. She's like, and I'm exhausted. I'll do a little find it just to get her up and wiggling. But what you're going to try to do is when Miss S is either on your left or your right, whichever side you prefer, or you can rotate, just make sure that whichever hand you're feeding her from is the same hand that's on the same side as her. So this way, when you're working on loose leash walking, you're building up that being by the side of your leg is where the good stuff happens, right next to you. I know she's a shorter gal, so sometimes with the shorter pupperoos, we may find that using, for example, the breadcrumb trail, which is where you could plop the food on the floor as you're meandering, if hunching over becomes a little bit challenging, because again, we do have to bend down to feed the gorgeous gal at her level. The other option would be to try a target stick. So like with either a spatula, a ladle. They do also now make these target type items where Leslie from Control Unleashed, she created some for her program. And you can find them, I believe, on cleanrun.com, or you could be, again, and be inventive like me and just repurpose things from home. So maybe we'll just do a little find it real quick. So I sometimes am just going to grab something out of camera range for 1 second. So I will at times, this one is a bit shorter though, the handle. So you may find like a target stick could be a spatula or a ladle. The benefit of this is then as you're feeding your puppy, you wouldn't have to hunch as much. Again, I'm a little taller, so you may want to have one that has a longer handle. I just have some other items smeared on this. You could use cream cheese, canned dog food, whatever you find works well with sort of sticking to the surface. You could then in the beginning start using this as the reinforcement. So when she comes in target, she could get a little lick. She's like, maybe I don't love it as much. I think she's also getting full because there's only so much room in her cute little belly. So if she's not a huge fan of like what I have as toppers on my spatula, she's like, Lady, I don't feel like demonstrating your crazy idea. But the benefit of having, for example, a spatula or a ladle, of course now she's like, no, I'll go check it out when it's on the chair. So, but the reason you may want to have it on a longer sort of stick is because now she's going for it, is then you would be able to use it. What do you think? You want some? Here, come this way. So you could then use it as a target for your puppy. So you could let them lick for a moment, take a few steps together. She's like, hold on, can't walk and lick. Take a few steps together and then offer the target again. So for some puppies, this could be a great way to use different types of reinforcements that may seem valuable for your puppy. Take a few steps and then have her hone in on the target stick. She's like, weird. And some of them, again, that are more foodie may go bananas for a target stick that has more items that they really enjoy smeared on top. I'm just going to go plop this off to the side because she's a little bit tired of the item, so no worries. We'll just plop it over here out of range. So, but for some of the babes, a target item like that could be really beneficial because you could have a higher value lick item on there. So if, let's say, your babe tends to fizzle out or gets a little bit distracted, or you're trying to create good associations with something off in the distance, having sometimes a higher value item like that, or a squeeze tube. You could also do, like, they have little pouches of even pureed fruits and vegetables, as long as the babes do okay with them. Or even the meat purees can be great for baby food, and you can use them. Sophie, she's like, no, I want it. It's over there, ma'am. Nice check-in. She's like, I don't know what I want, she says. Is that delicious? Oh, good. Yum, yum. So when practicing, sometimes having a little variety can be helpful. What do you think? You want something different? And the reason behind that is just like with us, even though we might like, let's say for example, love bananas, or we might love a certain thing, if we have too much of a good thing all at once, you may get a little over it. So even though I love chocolate, if I eat too much chocolate, I may not feel so good. So even things that I really enjoy, I might lose that enjoyment feel if I've had too much of it. So for our little lady, she says some of these snacks she's over, others she prefers much better. So we'll try a little bit with the cheese. The cheese is the winner today. Good job. So when working with our gorgeous gal, you could also rotate through food and toys and exploration, or things she finds valuable. So I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of play out of her, and then use the play to maybe either build some other behavior like some loose leash walk-in or some coming when called. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to get her up and playing. Ready? Go get that bad boy. So I know for my little lady, play can sometimes be a lot more engaging and motivational than sometimes food. So you guys may find that, I know she had that big rope toy in class, which was awesome. So you may find for her, same thing, toys would be something I'd want to build the value of and some fun around, but in different venues. Because if the only place she can really play where she feels most comfortable is just in, let's say, your home, we want to see if we can start to build up this ability in, let's say, the backyard or your side yard. So then you could go for little field trips and still use play as a great way to reinforce skills. Nice job. Ready? Go get that bad boy. Nice. So like, let's say she's doing a great job trying to chase it and catch it. Let's say before she catches it again, I might say, you ready with me? And I'm going to use the toy to motivate her to stay near me and stay a little attentive for a few moments, and then good. And then go into some of that play. So play could be a much more conducive tool for her for building some of this focus. Good job. And then have it be fun to stay attentive to you while there could be other things in the back burner for down the road. Because we do want to build up that eventually some of these items or situations can happen, not always in like the home or the vacuum that is like the classroom setting, but more so in the real world setting too, with the actual distractions out and about. What a good job. She's like, I caught it. He's mine forever. So if again, she really likes one tuggy, I know we've discussed rotation through toys. So you'd want to have one and then switch to another. Nice. So now again, this little toy could be alive and we've been practicing. Then we might again have it come alive, wiggle it. Oh, she says, maybe I'll try this snack, maybe not. We'll go get it. Oh, so good. She almost got it. Oh, there we go. Nice job. So getting her to grab, play, and then maybe you hold it, but you stop having it wiggle. Then the next toy comes alive, and we can rotate through the two. Nice job. Smart girl. Ready? Go get it. Nice. So, but toy drive to build into some loose leash walking or some, let's say, for example, recall practice could be another great venue for creating behavior for down the road too. Nice. So you ready? So I might say, ready, let's go, if I could talk. And I might say, with me. Nice. What a good job. So smart. So again, for staying a little bit attentive to me. Oh, she says, hold on, maybe she wants to try it. Nope, not as cool. Good job. Ready? And then go ahead, go get it. So then for staying somewhat close and somewhat attentive, I could feed through toys instead of food. So like reinforce that way, I mean. Good job. I know we're getting tired. She's such a cutie though. Nice job. And two, her energy level may not be what it normally tends to be. I do find, like, of course, just with us ladies, you know, sometimes you don't feel your best at times. So when it comes to our gorgeous gal, when she's going through her first heat, there's going to be a lot of hormone changes, which can also lead to fatigue or feeling uncomfortable or a little bit tired. So we may find for her attention span or her retention for some material may not be as fluid as it tends to be. So don't worry if it's not always the most beautiful thing you've ever done throughout her whole, practice moment. Right? You gonna go get it? She's getting so tired. She's too cute. But she's been doing a real nice job working with also going to the restroom outdoors, just like the rest of the lovely beauties. So she's been doing still very nicely by targeting the doorway and then heading out that way to go to the restroom. I'm just grabbing real quick her dog bed. I want to see if we can work just a couple little stays since she's getting a little bit more tired, see if we can get that to our advantage and work a bit with this place again like we did a little earlier. So I might lower her into her little bed, see if I can get her to hone in on that target. Good job, cutie. Dog hair everywhere, which I should just be used to. Are you so full you just can't function? She says, lady, I'm so done. So as I mentioned prior, if let's say you were working on a training session and you find that your babe just is calling it quits, don't keep going. So obviously in class here, they're with me for 5 hours. There's a lot going on. So sometimes they're feeling a little bit pooped out. She's like, maybe I want to go back outdoors because it's fun in the snow. So I would just, again, keep it short and sweet for great success. But when your babes are calling it quits, don't forget to sometimes listen, because if it's always go, 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 even when we said, again, she's saying no thanks, I need a break, we may then start to lose out on these whispers of how comfortable your babe might be during a training session. And if training is always something we just kind of force upon them, it should be something that we're working on together. So if we're finding there's moments where it's not going in the right direction, or you're just not feeling it that day, or maybe they're not feeling it that day, there's no harm in just taking a breath and then doing something else that might be just management or redirection to a different chew or an item. Ready? Sophie, come. Nice job, cutie. Nice work. Do you want one of your fishy friends? But if she's like, yeah, maybe I do. So here we go, cutie. So, but if again, certain things are still challenging, or there's certain skills you'd like me to touch base on, I know mostly you had mentioned working her place, working with some weights, and doing some of those previous skills, but maybe there's a few things that now she's doing differently than she did when she was much younger. So feel free throughout the weeks too, guys, to keep me updated on what you're working on at home, how things are progressing. And you can also send me videos. I'm not saying send me videos of your babe doing something that is not safe to do, or sort of a dynamic that's just not good for them. But maybe there's a moment where you're like, oh, this is how they behave when they hear this noise. Like, what do you think we should work on? So sometimes it's more, again, things are connected kind of like a spider web. So if we don't address kind of where they're at one point, it might affect, again, other scenarios and other behaviors in other venues. So, but Miss S is probably done for the day, and we'll rotate through the beauties, but she's really doing a very nice job for, again, week number 2 again. Good job. Ready? Come on down. She's like, oh, slowly. Are you so tired? So tired. But we'll give our lovely Miss S a little break, but she's really doing stellar. So good job, Sophie.